The girl had been pregnant for less than half a month. Yet her belly was terrifyingly large. All because the father of the child was not human at all. Even the male lead, a snow leopard, felt panic. Because an ordinary female could never withstand the power of a snow leopard. If the mother's body couldn't provide enough nourishment, both mother and child would perish. But the girl had run away with the child after their encounter. He had no idea where to even look for her. A week ago, the female lead, Wen Ning, had just transmigrated into an interstellar beast world and became a fox in heat locked in a prison cell. In desperation, she had no choice but to use an aphrodisiac scent on the guard who entered. Without a second thought, she pounced on him. Little did she know, the man was actually the Empire's 3S-ranked snow leopard Marshal. After having her way with him, the girl pulled up her pants and sneaked away. Unbeknownst to her, the man had been fully conscious the entire time. Once he regained his senses, he was furious to the point of madness. Damn that female! How dare she humiliate this Marshal like this? When his subordinates arrived, they were all horrified. The Empire's high-ranking, powerful Marshal had actually lost his virginity to a lowly female prisoner. Duan Yuqi's eyes burned with raging fury. He had underestimated her. Search for her with everything you've got. Leave no stone unturned. Yes, the subordinates didn't even dare to breathe under his oppressive aura. It seemed that once the silver fox female was found, the Marshal would surely grind her bones to dust. Fortunately, at this moment, Wen Ning was aided by the system. She had already fled to a dark alley to hide. System, I've already dealt with that man. When can you send me back? The system replied in a mechanical voice. Sorry, master. You can't go back yet. You've just successfully mated. Reward, 100 psychic points. Current psychic points remaining, 100. If you want to return, you need to reach 30,000 psychic points. Hearing this, Wen Ning frowned. Other than mating, are there other ways to gain psychic points? If it weren't for the special circumstances earlier, she wouldn't have wanted to tangle with a strange man like that. Yes, for every child you give birth to, your psychic points will also increase by 1,000. Moreover, your body has already been modified. The pregnancy period is only 30 days. You can also give birth painlessly. If you want to return sooner, I can help you find more high-quality men for mating. Wen Ning fainted from anger upon hearing this. Before transmigrating, she hadn't even held a man's hand. Why should she, of all places here, be forced to endlessly mate and give birth? And by the calculations, she'd have to bear 30 children before she could return. I refuse to be an emotionless breeding machine. I'll find a way to restore my spiritual energy without mating or childbirth. With that, she sprang into action. To avoid being recognized, she disguised herself as a male before stepping onto the streets. She began fervently gathering information related to spiritual energy. Finally, after 2.5 days, she learned of the black market's existence from a passerby. Rumors said only the auction house under the black market's protection dealt in spiritual energy transactions. But obtaining spiritual energy was exceedingly rare, and likely, those seeking to bid would be as numerous as hairs on an ox. Wen Ning was momentarily at a loss. The beast arm she'd swiped from that man had been spent down to just 1 coin and 25 cents. Even if she'd now found a way to trade, she couldn't afford to buy it. Yet, this hard-won information, she was determined to see it with her own eyes, no matter what. The next morning, Wen Ning disguised herself and went to the auction house's entrance, only to be turned away for lacking an invitation. Didn't even get through the door. As she stood nearby, thinking about how to sneak in, a muscular male with a 9-pack called out to her. Hey, female. I've got an auction house invitation here. You want it? Wen Ning turned to size him up carefully. The male's eyes were sharp and lively, his voice deep and powerful. He didn't seem like a bad person. Invitations are priceless and hard to obtain. How did you get one from the black market? Don't ask where the goods come from. I'm just asking, do you want it? I'll sell it to you cheap. If you have connections, why don't you go yourself? Even though he looked like an honest man, Wen Ning remained highly alert, stopping her out of nowhere and seeing through her identity as a female. He must have been tailing her for days. She didn't believe in free lunches and turned to run. I don't want the invitation. But she didn't expect someone behind her, who knocked her out with a single blow. Soon, the males carried her into the auction house and handed her over to their master. This female is interesting. She's actually the silver fox the Empire has been secretly searching for. If we auction her off, it'll be another huge deal. Wen Ning's consciousness gradually cleared. Her ears picked up the barely concealed excitement in the male's whispers. Master, the test results are out. This female is pregnant. What a pity. Pregnant with a bastard child, then she's not worth much anymore. Wen Ning's eyes widened instantly. Was the pregnancy referring to her? Could it really be detected just a few days in? The system can already detect fluctuations from the fetus in the host's womb. The child will be born in 15 days. The host can increase their psychic energy again. Wen Ning felt like she was still dreaming. How could she have gotten pregnant after just one time? This was way too fast. She couldn't help but touch her lower abdomen. There was already a slight curve. She had thought she'd just gained weight. In just over 10 more days, master, she might actually give birth. What kind of joke is this? Su Di frowned at his subordinate. Most female pregnancies last 3–4 months. She had just conceived not long ago. Her waist was still slender. Not a single sign of giving birth. A full examination has been conducted on this female. The fetus in her womb has already formed. There are indeed signs of labor. Su stroked his beard and smirked. No wonder. The Empire went to such lengths for this silver fox. Turns out, it wasn't just because she's a viviparous female. Her body is also special. What a fine commodity. Once she gives birth, let's see how the child's psychic energy turns out. If it's decent enough, then we'll auction off both mother and child together. He ordered his subordinates. These days, you'll take meticulous care of her. Don't let anything go wrong. Days passed one after another. Wen Ning's belly swelled rapidly, like a balloon being inflated. Though she had no freedom, she was pampered attentively every day. Sud was clearly very interested in her. Even rescheduled the auction house's opening time to the day she gives birth, so they could appraise and auction her on the spot. Wen Ning had always behaved obediently, quietly waiting for a chance to escape. But what she didn't expect was, this male was extremely cunning. He secretly ordered the construction of a massive cage to serve as her delivery room. On the day of the auction, they locked her heavily pregnant self inside along with a group of medical staff, transporting the entire group to the auction site. This outrageous move left Wen Ning utterly stunned. According to the plan she had discussed with the system, originally, the moment she gave birth, she could remotely link to the mental energy of the child's father, then briefly use her special ability to blow open the auction room wall and escape. But now, with so many people present, she wasn't sure if she could successfully escape. Wen Ning felt uneasy in her heart. The system had told her that the man she had mated with was named Duan Yuqi, a 3S level snow leopard beastman. But her original form was a silver fox, and her compatibility with that man wasn't high. She didn't know how much of his mental energy she could draw. At the same time, in another VIP room at the auction house, Duan Yuqi sensed a slight fluctuation in his mental energy. He frowned, just about to close his eyes and investigate the anomaly, when he was interrupted by a beautiful woman beside him. The woman placed a hand on his shoulder and said with displeasure, "Brother Ci, I heard the Duan family elders are selecting a mate for you. Duan Yuqi pushed her hand away and responded indifferently. His mental energy had always been stable, but ever since he stepped into this auction house today, it had been fluctuating intensely. Su Di was cautious and steady in his actions. He would never resort to underhanded means to offend the empire and the Duan family at this time. He couldn't figure out why this was happening. Back then, Brother Ci promised to marry me when we were kids. Isn't it time to fulfill that promise now? The Duan family does not intermarry with the imperial royalty. That is our family rule, and to this day, doesn't count. Qiao Weiwei's eyes flashed with anger. Her tone was full of resentment. How could those females compare to me? Brother, ordinary females can't withstand your psychic energy. But I can. Aren't we naturally compatible? Why have you never considered me? Stop making a scene. The monarch wouldn't allow it either. 1,000 years ago, the Duan family and the imperial family reached an agreement. The Duan family must never intermarry with the imperial clan. This is an ironclad rule every Duan must abide by. Duan Yuqi rubbed his temples. Qiao Weiwei's made him think of that escaped female. That audacious silver vixen dared to use an aphrodisiac on him. But it cannot be denied. Apart from Qiao Weiwei, she is the only female who doesn't repel his psychic energy. Qiao Weiwei clenched her lips. She had loved this male for over a decade. How could she just stand by and watch as the Duan family openly selects females for him? She refused to accept it, but she couldn't act rashly now. After all, Duan Yuqi didn't love her enough. I understand. Brother Ci won't bring it up again in the future. Duan Yuqi saw through her insincerity. Qiao Weiwei had been willful since childhood. Even the monarch indulged her endlessly. But the Duan family had its own private army and could ignore the princess's unreasonable demands. Duan Yuqi, as the next head of the Duan family, was the strongest male the family had produced in generations. His mate selection naturally had to be meticulous. Not a single misstep could be allowed. What happened with that silver fox was already an exception. Suddenly, several deafening tremors erupted in the distance. What's going on? Qiao Weiwei frowned. Someone attacked the auction house. Who would dare? Qiao Weiwei turned her head and saw Duan Yuqi stand up, his figure swaying momentarily. She gasped, Brother Ci, are you unwell? It's nothing. Duan Yuqi's expression darkened. The moment the quake hit, his mind had gone blank. His body and psychic energy felt drained unnaturally. Someone was siphoning his psychic energy. But this phenomenon, only the female partner he recognizes, or a child of his bloodline would do. Thinking of this, he closed his eyes to calm his mind. The next second, he lowered his head to look at his empty palm. His expression turned extremely grim. How could this be? At this moment, he couldn't even perform the simplest telekinesis. He grew somewhat panicked. Why had all his spiritual energy vanished? What exactly was going on? Meanwhile, the commotion in the auction house grew louder. It seemed someone had escaped from inside. The black market security and guards all mobilized, attempting to recapture the fleeing individual. Wen Ning hid in a dark corner, gasping for breath. His chest heaved violently. There are sounds of guards nearby. Go after that silver fox. Use psychic energy to trigger an explosion in the auction room. An ordinary beastman using this much psychic energy would have probably passed out long ago. She can't have gone far. Split up and search. Bring her and the cub back. Only when the voices grew faint in the distance did Wen Ning finally relax slightly. Holding the newborn cub tightly in her arms, she thought to the system. System, did you say I'd get 100 psychic energy for having a child? But how did my energy jump to 1,100? Where did the extra 1,000 come from? Host, giving birth to an ordinary child would indeed only grant 100 psychic energy. But the one you birthed isn't ordinary at all. Wen Ning lowered her head to look at the cub in her arms. After giving birth, she'd been too busy draining Duan Yuqi's psychic energy and blowing up the auction room to escape. She hadn't even had a chance to glance at her baby. Now, with a moment of safety, she could finally take a proper look. Carefully lifting the cloth wrapped around the little one, a soft, adorable face peeked out. Wen Ning was instantly stunned. Good heavens, this was actually the cub she'd given birth to? Unlike human babies, who were all wrinkly at birth, her cub's skin was smooth from the start. With fair skin and big eyes, it stared at her curiously. Wen Ning's heart melted at the sight. Her cub was just too adorable no matter how you looked at it. The hair color was inherited from Duan Yuqi. It was a pitch black white. Two fluffy little ears trembled occasionally. She couldn't hold back. Reached out and gently poked the little one's cheek. He knew the little rascal could already smile. So sweet and soft. Wen Ning was dazed by that smile. Suddenly, multicolored light radiated from the little one's body. With a soft pop, a gorgeous tail bloomed like petals, each strand covered in silvery white fur, fluffy and soft. A stunned Wen Ning widened her eyes. System, didn't you say before? The baby should be the same species as its father? What's going on? The system's voice was uncharacteristically cheerful. That's how it is. Host, as a low-level psychic female, it was originally very difficult for you to conceive a high-level snow leopard's offspring. But just now, during your psychic resonance with Duan Yuqi, you successfully altered the cub's genes, giving birth to its tier rare vixen. It possesses 12 tails. Its bloodline is the noblest among silver foxes. This 1,000 psychic points are your reward. High-tier beastkin babies grant a 1,000 psychic point reward. Then if I had a defective one, would I get points deducted instead? My Wen Ning stammered. The system recommends mating with high-quality males. That way, the offspring are highly likely to inherit the parent's superior genes and become high-tier beastkin. The higher the psychic level, the smarter the beastkin cub. The little brat doesn't cry or make a fuss, charmed by Wen Ning's sweet smile. Baby, can you put your tails away first? Wen Ning tapped her little nose. The 12 fluffy tails vanished with a whoosh. Wen Ning let out a sigh of relief. Only with the tails gone could she make a clean escape. Otherwise, she'd be way too conspicuous. Time to go. The system issued a warning in her mind. Beastmen guards were approaching nearby. Wen Ning's expression darkened. Just as she was about to stand up, a sharp pain shot through her calf. She looked down. Only then did she notice that after the auction room explosion, a shard had lodged itself into her leg, leaving a dark red stain. Damn it, Wen Ning cursed under her breath. She'd been too caught up in the moment earlier to notice the wound. The scent of blood must have drawn those guards over. Host, you can exchange for hemostatic pills and energy pills to quickly stop bleeding and restore stamina. How much psychic energy is needed? 200 psychic energy. Wen Ning gritted her teeth. Damn profiteer, she only had 1,000 psychic energy in total. After reluctantly making the purchase, she eagerly swallowed them. The pain and exhaustion in her calf gradually faded. She regained her strength. Wen Ning tightened her grip on the youngling in her arms. The next moment, she used her remaining psychic energy to create a loud noise, drawing the guard's attention to the other side. She spent another 50 psychic energy to buy a large cloak from the system and draped it over herself, then bolted. Fortunately, the area near the auction house was full of alleys, a sprawling maze of interconnected paths. Soon, she shook off the guards and found a well-hidden hiding spot, a basement near a garbage dump. But barely half a minute after settling in, the youngling, who had been eerily quiet the whole way, puckered its lips and burst into loud wails. Wen Ning clumsily tried to soothe the child. Perhaps her scent and voice brought the little one some comfort. As the crying gradually subsided, she then fed the youngling some breast milk. Before starting to organize the clutter on the floor, trying to clear a clean space, the little one in her arms likely felt uncomfortable again, puckered its lips, and started crying once more. This time, Wenning couldn't be soothed no matter how hard she tried. Host, this environment is too harsh. It's not suitable for the cub's growth. Female silver foxes are naturally delicate. They have very high demands for their surroundings. Living in a garbage dump for too long will make her sick. Then where else can I go? Wenning felt a little lost. She had just arrived in this interstellar world. Before she could even settle down, she suddenly had a child to care for. The child's biological father would come looking for them sooner or later. The system had said, when spiritual energy was drawn upon, Duan Yuqi would sense it. And then there was that damned auction house. They would never let this go. If she tried to live in the city, she didn't have citizenship. Everything would be restricted. Host, you could go to the jungle. That area isn't under the control of the imperial officers. The natural environment would ensure better growth for the cub. The jungle, Wenning murmured to herself. She began to think it was a feasible plan. Besides, the jungle was vast. It wouldn't be so easy. If caught, she could just flee to another part of the jungle. Duan Yuqi rubbed his temples, staring at the wanted notice in front of him. It bore a face he recognized. Faintly, he could see the woman holding a cub in her arms. This was a bounty issued by the auction house. According to reports, they had lost their two most valuable lots, a female silver fox with a rare bloodline, and her newborn cub. Marshal, we've confirmed the auction house. The female silver fox that escaped is the one who stole our nation's classified information. The adjutant swallowed hard. His peripheral gaze drifted toward his expressionless Marshal. The auction house issued 100 wanted notices in a row, offering a reward of millions. They are determined to recapture them. But before these notices could even be released, they were all intercepted by our Marshal. Issuing wanted notices isn't their call to make. Duan Yuqi tapped his fingers lightly. On the table, a cold smirk playing at his lips. That female silver fox was obtained through illegal means. Its legitimacy is already questionable. Not to mention, the target is a suspect in classified theft. If anyone's making the arrest, it should be the military first. The adjutant understood implicitly. Sir, we've already dispatched teams to locate that female silver fox. She won't escape. A hidden agitation flickered through Duan Yuqi's heart. He could now confirm that the anomaly he felt at the auction house was caused by that female. Moreover, he had another thought. Only a female who bore a cub connected to his bloodline could trigger such intense fluctuations. Though female silver foxes are highly fertile, the timing was completely off. It was far too early for the expected delivery. What the hell was going on? Duan Yuqi pondered for a long time and decided to take matters into his own hands. That silver fox is far too cunning. Who knows how many treasures she has protecting her body? Ordinary beastmen would likely find it difficult to bring her back. Moreover, they've already been intimate once. When it comes to tracking the silver fox's scent, no one is more suited than him. Soon, the Mind Core sent him a message. According to the probe's display, that vixen entered the dark alley and never came out. Duan Yuqi disconnected from the Mind Core, boarded the spacecraft, and personally headed to the dark alley to pursue her. At the same time, Wenning exchanged her psychic energy for a vitality pill. Feeling her stamina fully restored, she fled with the little cub toward the great jungle. 2.5 hours later, she cautiously crossed the city's boundary line and successfully reached the edge of the jungle. But after walking inside for a long time, she didn't even catch a glimpse of a single beastman. She muttered to herself, "This damned place is way too big." Then, she thought to crouch by a tree and rest for a moment. But she accidentally touched something. And the next second, a large net fell from the sky landing directly on Wen Ning's head. She didn't even have time to react before the spikes on the net swiftly pierced her skin and injected toxins into her body. In the final moment, before losing consciousness completely, she instinctively tightened her grip on the cub in her arms. After stalking this female for so long, we've finally caught her in our trap. Two handsome males emerged from behind a large boulder not far away. They stared excitedly at Wen Ning and her daughter, rubbing hands in excitement. From the moment the mother and daughter entered the jungle, they were being watched. They've been followed until now. Finally, the chance to take them down in one move has come. Boss, we can fetch a good price for them this time. Buy one, stop the nonsense and hurry up, get them loaded. If those snakes catch sight of this, they'll stick their noses in again. Just the thought of the Snake Clan enforcers lurking in this jungle sent a shiver down both their spines. Swiftly, they hoisted Wen Ning and the young one onto their backs, ready to return to their hideout. But before they could take more than a few steps, the Snake Clan enforcers materialized out of thin air. Halt! What's the deal with the female on your back? In the jungle, beast folk often engage in illegal schemes, and the Snake Clan is known to be both formidable and cold-blooded. He then assumed the role of an impartial law enforcer. Lord Li Sheng, this is our shared mate, the two of us brothers. Look, we even have a child together. The brothers inwardly cursed their bad luck and hurriedly revealed the little cub for Li Sheng to see. With just one glance, Li Sheng was captivated by the little cub's beauty, unable to look away. When he raised his head to look at the two handsome toads before him, his golden-framed glasses reflected the killing intent in his eyes. His cold, slit-like pupils stared at the brothers, as if gazing at two dead men. Are you telling me a lowly, weak-minded toad could produce such a beautiful silver fox cub? The Silver Fox brothers paled. They hadn't even bothered to look at the cub earlier. How would they know it was a silver fox? A sinister glint flashed in Li Sheng's tree-like pupils, and he instantly turned the two hunters before him into massive boulders. Take them all away. By evening, when Ning finally regained consciousness, she cursed her misfortune under her breath and glanced around, only to find herself lying in a cozy, lived-in cave. The place was neat and tidy, with shelves full of books. Where is this? Where's my cub? Soon, a refined and handsome male entered, holding her silver fox cub in his arms. My child. Wen Ning rushed over and snatched her baby back, glaring warily at the beastman before her. Who are you? Li Sheng raised his hand. His smile was gentle. Don't be nervous. I was the one who saved you and your daughter. You just ran into beast traffickers, but they've already been captured. I apologize for bringing you back to my tribe without permission. Since I didn't know your background, it might have been dangerous to leave you outside. His speech was refined, graceful, and poised, unintentionally making him more likable. Wen Ning glanced down at the cub in her arms, sleeping soundly, and finally relaxed. Thank you. My name is Wen Ning. Have a seat. I've prepared some food for you. What would you like to eat? Anything is fine. Wen Ning didn't want to trouble him further. Li Sheng smiled. His status in the tribe was high. With just a casual clap of his hands, Beastman stepped forward to arrange the meal. Taking the opportunity, Wen Ning realized she was now in the jungle tribe. The beastmen here dressed similarly to city folk, but they all lived in caves. Are you the leader here? Wen Ning asked blankly. Li Sheng nodded, without her needing to ask for help. The man considerately prepared formula milk for the little silver fox. Wen Ning took the bottle, her wariness easing slightly. After thanking him, she began feeding the cub. Since she was hungry too, she simply ate with her hands while nursing. Li Sheng watched from the side. The probing gaze swept over the mother and daughter who were wolfing down their food. Couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. Do you have somewhere to go? Wen Ning couldn't tell the truth. So she forced out tears and started acting. I met a scumbag bear. He tricked me into having his child. Only later did I find out. He owed the casino a huge sum and wanted to sell my child to pay off his debt. If I refused, he threatened to kill me. I had no choice but to flee into the jungle with my child. Wen Ning got more and more into her performance. She was just short of painting the child's real father as an utterly despicable bastard. Li Sheng showed a sympathetic expression. In that case, you can stay here for now. He stood up. My name is Li Sheng. There happen to be a few empty caves in the tribe. You can go pick one out yourself later. With that, he turned and left the cave. Once outside, Li Sheng's expression changed abruptly. A hint of amusement played on his face. But mostly, there was curiosity. Ever since he brought her back, some in the tribe had clamored to send her for testing. Her origins were unknown, and she carried what appeared to be an extremely powerful female. If the cub were handed over to the Empire, it could fetch a massive amount of resources. But he stopped them. He was genuinely curious. How could a female with no detectable psychic energy give birth to a silver fox cub with great psychic power? Wen Ning settled into the serpent tribe without issue. She chose a cave not too far from Li Sheng. It was already furnished, ready to move in. This was her first time living in a cave. The cub, living in a clean environment, seemed quite happy too. System: when will she grow up? Beastmen have short growth cycles. 3 weeks later, she'd be equivalent to a 3-year-old human child. But host, I should remind you, your psychic energy diminishes every 6 days. I suggest you quickly find a new high-quality male and mate with him. Find a male again? Wen Ning rolled her eyes. She'd just given birth, and now she was supposed to go find a male? What kind of person did they take her for? Li Sheng wasn't a bad choice, though. He is not only the young master of the Snake Clan, but also possesses a hidden identity. Most importantly, his bloodline is noble. A natural grade male, no less impressive than Duan Yuqi. Wen Ning couldn't bear to listen to these words. Li Shengkai had helped her, yet she wanted to forcibly claim his body. That was just too immoral. Enough, no need to say any more. I haven't reached that point yet. We'll talk about it when the time comes. Wen Ning hadn't given up. She still wanted to search further for a method to increase spiritual power without the need for mating. Good luck. The host system finally shut up. Before sleeping, Wen Ning placed the dagger beside her pillow so she could strike quickly in case of danger. Confident that living alone wasn't safe, she never let her guard down. Night fell. The surroundings were eerily quiet. Yet a figure appeared at the cave entrance. It was Duan Yuqi, following the scent of the cub, and found the cave where Wen Ning lived. Through the entrance, he could clearly see the sleeping Wen Ning inside, and the little cub beside her. Blood-tea eyes drove him to step forward urgently. But the entrance was blocked by a massive protective barrier. Duan Yuqi was about to use his spiritual power to break the barrier, but it vanished as swiftly as melting snow. Without the barrier disappearing, the little silver fox crawled over with curious wide eyes. The power of bloodline was so strong. Let him, at the first sight of the cub, be unable to resist giving her everything he has. Duan Yuqi couldn't help but reach out and touch it. The moment he made contact with the cub, a brilliant light flashed. 12 silver, fluffy tails swayed in the air. The little one seemed to be in high spirits, giggling cheerfully. In the darkness, Wen Ning opened her eyes, gripped her dagger, and spoke in a chilling tone. Who? A cold aura instantly filled the air. Wen Ning shivered involuntarily, tightening her hold on the dagger. By the faint moonlight at the cave entrance, she saw the face of the person before her. Duan Yuqi, why are you here? She gasped in surprise, instinctively taking a few steps back. That's what I should be asking you. Duan Yuqi forced down the anger in his heart, suddenly seizing her wrist, his eyes burning with fury. Wen Ning, you've got some nerve, daring to do that to me. The man's handsome face flushed faintly. He couldn't bring himself to finish. That incident was nothing short of a humiliating disgrace to him. A dignified imperial duke, yet he had been taken advantage of by an audacious fox, robbed of his most important first night. And worse, she had used his perfect genes to bear a cub. At this thought, Duan Yuqi inexplicably calmed down again. He released Wen Ning's hand, stepped forward, and carefully picked up the little cub, gently poked her delicate little face. The little one wasn't the least bit shy. He could even sense the aura of his father's bloodline, giving him a sweet, blossoming smile. Duan Yuqi's heart was about to melt. The typically cold and ruthless Empire's Marshal was actually gently playing with the little one in his arms, even using the badge on his chest as a toy to catch the little one's attention. If this scene were to be seen by his subordinates, they'd probably be scared to death, thinking their marshal had been possessed by someone. Little one, what's your name? Duan Yuqi instinctively softened his voice. Wen Ning's lips twitched, unable to resist complaining to the system. It's a tough guy showing his tender side. Host, you just don't get it. This is the power of bloodline. Once a male senses offspring carrying his own bloodline, he involuntarily produces a certain hormone. This hormone, much like mental energy, directly controls their brain. That's why all the test subjects were raised by males. Females only need to fulfill the responsibility of reproduction. Wen Ning clicked her tongue in amazement. No wonder the males she encountered earlier were all very friendly toward her offspring. It's probably the male's innate instinct to protect their young. But does this also mean he might compete with her for custody of the child? No, the child was born by her alone. No one can take it away. Wanting to clear her throat for Wen Ning, she put on a serious expression and began speaking to Duan Yuqi. Whether you're willing to believe it or not, what happened back then wasn't intentional on my part. It was just an accident. Duan Yuqi's lips curled into a mocking arc. His cold gaze was filled with nothing but skepticism. Are you saying that drugging me and then giving birth to my child were both accidents? Wen Ning felt a little awkward, her eyes darting away. Even though it really was an accident, saying it out loud was still so embarrassing. Luckily, she had thick skin. That's right. Back then, I didn't mean to drug you. It was purely self-defense. As for this child, Wen Ning took a deep breath and decisively cut ties with him. You can have this child too. It has nothing to do with you. No one knows Zaize is your child right now. She can live with me in the forest. She can leave once she comes of age. No one will gossip about you behind your back during this time. This is the best solution she could think of. Wen Ning doesn't want to be involved with this man, even if he is Zai's biological father now. Host, please note, your spiritual energy has dropped significantly. It needs replenishment through intimate acts such as mating. And Duan Yuqi is currently the cub's father. He holds a natural advantage. Mating with him again is the safest choice. Wen Ning refuses to become a breeding machine. She lets out a long sigh. Her gaze toward Duan Yuqi carries a tinge of guilt. The same mistake. Making it once was enough. She can't hold this man back any longer. System, don't try to persuade me. I have my own considerations. The system falls silent, hiding its voice. But after hearing her words, Duan Yuqi is engulfed in towering rage that pierces straight through his heart. He carefully sets down the cub in his arms and advances toward her step by step. Wen Ning, am I someone you can mess with whenever you want and discard as you please? Does he look so ugly that even the woman who bore his child doesn't want him? The corners of Duan Yuqi's eyes redden with agitation. The closer he gets to Wen Ning, the more restless and feverish his body becomes. This is something that has never happened before. The sweet, feminine scent of sweat kept invading his nostrils, driving him nearly insane. What kind of drug did you give me? Why hasn't the effect worn off yet? Duan Yuqi forced these words through gritted teeth, as if he wanted to devour Wen Ning alive. Wen Ning also noticed something was wrong with him. She quickly pushed him away. Frowning, she said, "My drugs aren't capable of lasting this long. What's really wrong with you?" Her heart sank. Could it really be as the system said? After giving birth, her compatibility with the child's father would increase. Their scents would influence each other. Of course, the higher level one would be more affected. Wen Ning, due to her currently low spiritual energy, escaped unscathed. But Duan Yuqi was different. Seeing the man's gaze grow increasingly unsettling, Wen Ning hurriedly picked up the little cub. The tiny one's fluffy tail appeared again, radiating an angelic glow. Duan Yuqi's eyes cleared slightly. After barely restraining his desire, he asked again, "What exactly are you?" In all his years of living, he had never encountered anything like this. There was clearly no drug at work. Yet the moment he got close to Wen Ning, he showed signs of arousal. He couldn't even control his own desires, wanting to pin her beneath him. Like their first time. Thinking of this, Duan Yuqi's expression turned complicated. No matter what. "I'm taking this child with me. You staying here simply can't take proper care of her. Nor can you provide a suitable environment for her growth. Vixen cubs are delicate from birth. It's not like you don't know. Not to mention this child has an innate 3S level psychic ability. There's no way I'm letting her stay here with you." After a pause, he continued, "You and I will return to the auction house. I'll help you settle the matter." This is already the biggest concession he could make. Wen Ning's face turned cold. She coldly shook off his hand. "So I should go back and let you lock me up in a cell? My affairs are none of your concern. I didn't steal imperial secrets. And I refuse to be imprisoned again. Neither does my child." As soon as she finished speaking, the little cub suddenly let out 2 whimpers, tiny hands waving in the air, as if echoing her mother's words, vigorously condemning her father as a big bad villain. Duan Yuqi's expression instantly darkened again. He was about to speak, when the cub abruptly burst into loud wails. This was the first time she had cried since arriving here. A 3S level vixen cub's destructive power was immense. Just a few cries instantly drew countless males rushing to protect her. And this territory happened to belong to the serpent tribe. Duan Yuqi couldn't act recklessly. Serpent beastmen were innately heartless, and also extremely vindictive. To act in their territory would definitely invite retaliation. Even if he's the Empire's Marshal, he wouldn't escape such retribution. The man had no choice, and could only leave behind the words, "I'll be back," before his figure swiftly vanished. Once her father was gone, the little silver fox immediately stopped crying. Blinking her big eyes, she reached out to Wen Ning, asking to be held. Wen Ning's heart melted completely, picking up the little one and giving her a kiss. "Babies really are the sweetest. Let's not have a dad like that, okay?" The little silver fox rolled her eyes, pouted as if about to cry. Wen Ning hurried to salvage the situation. "We'll still keep this, Dad. But we won't go back for now. How about Mommy takes you out to play?" The little one finalitchered up again. Wen Ning couldn't help but wipe off a sweat. Jin Zhong mourned for Duan Yuqi with the count of 3. The child still cares about her father, but just not that much. Though perhaps that's for the best. She never intended for little silver fox and her biological father to become sworn enemies. The matters between adults shouldn't involve the child. Let the cub choose whom to side with when she grows up. A somewhat perilous night came to an end. Wen Ning fell into a deep slumber. The next day, she was jolted awake by a nightmare. Too much had happened the night before. She actually dreamed that when Yuchi arrived in the forest with a massive army, not only seizing Li Sheng's territory, but also imprisoning her and her daughter. After waking, she couldn't shake the chill running down her spine. No, she couldn't just sit around waiting for death. The little silver fox could only withstand the most ordinary of injuries, but against real harm, Zai Zai was completely helpless. To survive at a time like this, Wen Ning had no choice but to seek help from other beastmen. With that thought, she picked up the little silver fox and headed out of the cave. She needed to quickly integrate into this tribe. The snake clan was innately powerful, though they were cold-blooded creatures. As long as she and her cub were useful, the snake clan wouldn't abandon a youngling. So she planned to rely on her own worth to assimilate into the tribe. The snake clan, living in the jungle, had habits different from the empire's residents. Though they possessed advanced technology, they still retained primitive food customs. After the males finished hunting, they would divide the prey equally among every household. And during mealtime, everyone would gather around the bonfire to eat together. This was an unwritten rule. But today, Wen Ning was about to break it. Because she had no male to contribute to the hunt, yet she still sat by the bonfire, ready to share the food everyone else had procured. One of the beastmen grew furious on the spot, shouting loudly, "Young chief, what right does she have to sit with all of us? Once or twice was fine. We pitied her then. But now, she has no male by her side, yet expects our entire tribe to support her and her child? Is that fair? You're right, this isn't fair at all." Wen Ning had just sat down holding the little silver fox. Doubtful voices kept ringing in my ears. Can't help but clench my fingers. Perched at the highest spot, Li Sheng didn't even blink. Just a single glance. The troublemaking ORCs immediately wilted. They didn't dare defy the young master's order. Though a few females couldn't stand it, they stood up to reason with them. "Why are you males being so petty? You're just eyeing that young female because she's with a child and has no male by her side. You just want to pursue her." Tana is right. How much could a female and her cub even eat? That mother and child were already abandoned by their male. How tragic is that? And here you are, making heartless remarks. Have you no decency at all? The ones speaking were females who had birthed multiple cubs. Their words carried weight in the tribe. Plus, Lik Sing's icy demeanor. The males who originally had issues with Wen Ning instantly shut their mouths. But Wen Ning couldn't just let things continue this way. Otherwise, how would she ever integrate into this tribe? Who says I'm completely useless? The crowd's attention was instantly drawn by these words. All eyes turned toward Wen Ning, who sat alone by the bonfire. One of the females scoffed dismissively. "What skills could you possibly have? All you do is eat our food and use our resources." Wen Ning wasn't in a hurry to defend herself. She calmly stood up, glanced at the food in front of them, and curled her lips slightly. The snake beastmen didn't know how to cook. Every meal consisted of raw meat and uncooked fruit. What they were eating right now was raw beef. There were also some vegetable-escent fruits piled up nearby. The two seemed quite mismatched. Wen Ning had an idea in mind. She pointed at the raw meat in front of her. "I'll check out the new recipes on Gourmet. Process these foods until they are fully cooked." She vaguely remembered the day she first arrived at the tribe. Li Sheng had Sumiona deliver food to her. That was downright disgusting. If it weren't for the fact that I'm starving to death, she probably can't even bring herself to take a bite. Therefore, Wen Ning planned to rely on his excellent cooking skills, successfully infiltrated Snake Tribe. But everyone at the scene thought she was full of hot air. Even the female who had previously spoken up for her. "I can't help but say, don't talk big. That kind of thing has long been lost to time. Even the Research Institute has specificalizable a department to study it. How could you possibly know how?" Gradually, mocking laughter spread through the tribe. "That's fucking hilarious. Does this silver fox even have a brain? Open your mouth hand, it's all lies. She's so damn good. What's the point of having those senior researchers then? She doesn't even stop to consider her own worth. Why did the cult leader keep this female alive? Might as well hand it over to the Empire for some benefits. More and more beastmen are getting involved in this matter. They brazenly voiced their discontent. Seeing this, Wen Ninja instead smiled confidently. You've always wanted to drive me away, haven't you? If I'm just talking big, that doesn't need you to intervene. I'll turn Missile Fiend to the Empire. How about giving you some benefits in return? The beastman snorted coldly. Try me then. Otherwise, they'll think we're scared. What she wanted, waste his exact phrase. Hand the little silver fox over to the female next to you. Wen Ning took the initiative to fetch the tools. Start preparing the ingredients. Heat the oil in the pan again. They immediately cooked the 3 big pots of dishes. Looking at the delicious dragon fruit fried rice, stir-fried tomato with tomato, potato stir-fried with potatoes. All the ORCs at the corners of the mouth couldn't help but start drooling, seeing the ORCs eagerly waiting to dig in. Wen Ning then had them line up with their tableware in hand. She gave everyone a scoop. Li Sheng, as the young master of the clan, the first to enjoy the meal, the man's posture is elegant, graceful and elegant. Especially that face, it's practically flawless. No wonder the system kept nagging in her ear. Tell her to find a way to take them down. How about having another one of his little pups? Wen Ning looked at the crowd within the clan. Originally, those orcswo were still nitpicking. After taking the first bite, the disdain on his face vanished in an instant. Is this for real? I really underestimated you. This is nowhere near feminine. This is Simplithe, god of cooking. I'm so sick of all that raw food and nutrient paste. This meal is absolutely delicious. Master Chef, I bow to you. Listening to the endless stream of praise, Wen Ning finally let out a sigh of relief. New here. Luckily, she has a skill. Just happened to be able to help. Wait until later when I've mastered the use of psychic energy. She doesn't have to be so timid and cautious. This little incident, this completely integrate Wen Ning into the tribe. After she and the cube returned to their cave, soon another group of forks arrived together. They sent her a lot of daily necessities. This is treatment I didn't get when I first came out. Wen Ning cherished these material things immensely. Thank you for your kindness. These past few days, everyone can't guess whatever they'd like to eat. I'll help as much as I can. Hearing this, the beastman became even happier. Leaving happily while skipping away, Wen Ning smiled and sat down beside the little silver fox. It's only been a few short days. The cub looks quite a bit bigger now. Even that jet black hair offers had grown much longer. After the mother and daughter had interacted for a while, Wen Ning suddenly felt a bit dizzy. This is a manifestation of her declining mental energy. Mental strength decreases every 6 days. It will make her weaker and weaker. When the time comes, she will become as desperate to find a male to mate with as before. She must find it as soon as possible. Other ways to replenish mental energy. At this very moment, Li Sheng appeared in front of the cave entrance. Wen Ning, can I come in? She looked back at the past. For one's own life-saving benefactor, Wen Ning still has a pretty good impression. She smiled and said, come in. Unexpectedly, the little silver fox didn't dislike Li Sheng. He didn't raise a barrier to stop him either. Wen Ning was slightly surprised. I glanced back at the little one. Didn't expect my own daughter to giggle non-stop. Reaching out towards Li Sheng's direction and begging for a hug. And Li Sheng also seemed like Heath Cub's biological father. Skillfully picked her up, whispering softly to coax. Wen Ning stared at him blankly. Getting funnier. What, are you really that surprised? Wen Ning put away his expression, nodding lightly. I thought males like Thang Master were all. Don't know how to take care of kids. After all, you don't look like a dom yet. Li Sheng shook his head. He casually took a seat on the chair. No need to call me young master, just call me Li Sheng. I indeed have no females, but male parenting skills are all innate. After all, the female puts in a lot of effort to raise her offspring. The man can't just not care about anything, right? Wen Ning quite admired this attitude of his. After the pleasantries, Li Shengkai finally spoke out about his purpose, this time coming over. I wanted to ask you about your mental energy. Wen Ning froze for a moment. She instinctively became alert. Is there something wrong with my mental energy? Li Sheng gave here a gentle smile. Don't be nervous. I'm just a little curious, that's all. Your mental energy level doesn't seem very high. But your cub is Ance's level hedgehog. This is simply a miracle. As he spoke, he shoved the business card into Wen Ning's hand. It says, Royal Academy Psychic Research Department Head. Professor Li Sheng. You are a tutor at Royal Academy. Still researching powers. Wen Ning was truly stunned. Surprised. Li Sheng's demeanor became even more gentle. So can you cooperate with me? Wen Ning suppressed the excitement in his heart. Does this mean Li Sheng has the information she needs here? So she immediately asked, What do you need me to do? Li Sheng first understood her situation. Can you use your psychic power? Wen Ning shook his head very honestly. But in order not to expose the situation, she made up a random excuse. My body is very special. Especially mental strength. So never used it before. Li Sheng understood. Fingers gently brushed against little silver fox's cheek. He hasn't encountered such an outstanding young beast in a long time. If only the father is in class male, this cub wouldn't so perfect either. So, Wen Ning is absolutely not as ordinary as he appears on the surface. Her mental energy is most likely the vastness of a deeper universe. It's just that due to various limitations, she couldn't perform to her full potential. I can teach you how to use psychic power. Li Shanghuan smiled faintly. Wen Ning agreed immediately. Soon the two of them reached depths of the forest. Li Sheng raised his hand. A pale green flame appeared in the palm of his hand. Psychic power connects our brains. You could say it's the source of our strength. You can close your eyes. Gather all consciousness in one place, just like me. Can make the flame change into any shape at will. The stronger your mental power is, the higher the aggressiveness, the higher the attack power. The art of speaking deceitfully. A fierce tiger had quietly approached at some unknown moment, standing before them with an absolutely aggressive stance, letting out a fierce beast-like roar. Wen Ning imitated his manner. Hold your breath. United in purpose and strength. Give all your attention. All concentrated in one place. The next moment she opened her eyes. A faint glimmer flickers in the depths of the eyes. An invisible attack directly scorched the fierce tiger. It let out a miserable scream and fled in panic. You succeeded. Li Shem was slightly surprised. He had never seen such a talented female before. Wen Ning looked down at his hands in disbelief. I didn't expect that either. I can't believe it worked out so quickly. Just that moment, she feels full of strength all over her body. No wonder the system required her to keep increasing her mental power. But the downside of her using psychosynergy to attack is equally obvious. That's just a waste of too much. It made her already precarious mental state even worse. Host, you still have 12 days left. Must find someone to mate with. Otherwise, your mental energy is insufficient. Will drive you crazy. Wen Ning was speechless. She only used it for a bit. It turned out like this. So damn fragile. She took a deep breath. Looking up, heist Professor Bai. Can I ask you a question? Can mental strength be artificially replenished? Bishing was somewhat surprised. Under normal circumstances, Mental energy can be automatic refills after being depleted. Just need a little time, won't affect life. Could it be that he suddenly realized a serious problem? You can't auto-complete, can you? If that's really the case, then the situation is very serious. Wen Ning's face darkened, hesitating whether to tell him the truth. After a long while, she made a decision. The way I replenish my mental energy is a bit different from others. Hearing this, Li Sheng grew even more curious. Can you show me how to do it? Wen Ning's face turned bright red. I don't know how to explain it to him. But the man in front of her stared at her like an inquisitive child. So she decided to throw caution to the wind. Close your eyes and tiptoe, gently planting a kiss on Li Sheng's face. After finishing it, she quickly lowered her head, trying hard to act like nothing's wrong. That's how it's replenished. The expected serpents did not come. Overhead, there was instead a burst of laughter. Very interesting souply method. Li Sheng touched his slightly flushed face. Even the ever-graceful him lost his composure for once. So you never use psychic powers, because you want to artificially boost your mental power. Unwilling to adopt this method anymore, Li raised an eyebrow with a smirk. And then I sincerely suggest, actually, you can find a partner. This way, you can replenish your mental energy anytime. For example, Thelital one's father. Wen Ning frowned slightly. This is not a once and for all solution. If faced with a sudden threat, I just couldn't handle it either. Moreover, she still had many words she couldn't bring herself to say. For example, the system within the body. Sorry for my abruptness. Li Sheng took the initiative to apologize, then fell into deep thought. We are still conducting research on this. If you're willing, I might take you to see the current research results. Wen Ning felt a little tempted. But she's currently in this situation. It's really not suitable to leave the forest. Not to mention Duan Yuzi was still eyeing her covetously. Want to take the little silver fox away. Leave the forest. Equivalent to walking right into the trap. Wen Ning could only refuse. Not very convenient at the moment. Li Sheng, naturally didn't insist. Just expressing concern about her physical condition. He added another sentence. I am currently conducting an experiment. It's somewhat related to the things that are troubling you. Although not successful yet. But if you need it, you can also come find me. Wen Ning nodded. A trace of gratitude flashed in his eyes. Thank you for leaving her a glimmer of hope with these words. A moment later, Wen Ning returned to the cave. As soon as I entered, I saw an uninvited guest. It's Duan Yu speaking. Holding the baby and breastfeeding. By his side were a salarge and small bags. All of it is baby formula and infant supplies. Wen Ning had a splitting headache. Eyes keep looking outside. Afraid that their situation here might be discovered. Fortunately, the afternoon is the busiest time for everyone. Not many people are in the cave. This is also the reason Duan Yu chose this moment. The reason for coming over. He snorted coldly at Wen Ning. Wen Ning was utterly speechless. Is this guy just here to breastfeed, or what? Seemingly seeing through Wen Ning's thoughts, the man coldly explained that this wasn't just ordinary baby formula. It's the latest product developed by the Research Institute, helping the young ones grow. For cubs with strong mental power. Very useful. As she spoke, a faint blush appeared on her fair skin. Obviously feeling embarrassed. This look. There's a stark contrast with his cold, handsome face. Just a few days. Wen Ning has Aurodician too much. Duan Yu's unknown side. He was even worried that he might be silenced. He took a deep breath. I couldn't help but ask the Marshal. When the hell are you leaving this place? Don't you have anything else to do? I'll say it again. Me and the kid won't leave with you. Duan Yu curled his lips. The gaze was icy cold. This is not up to you. The snake is the most heartless animal. Do you think they'll treat you well just because they kept you around? Wrong, your body is special. Can give birth to powerful offspring. As a silver fox, they must have had their eyes in your fertility for a long time. Especially that Li Sheng. You know nothing about him. Yet completely unguarded. Instead, they keep an eye on me every single day. How ridiculous. Somehow, Duan Yuqi felt a bit aggrieved. Obviously he is the biological father of the cub, but can only sneak into someone else's territory. Let me see my little one. But it's not fair at all. Wenning rolled her eyes speechlessly. Then are you truly sincere with me? You insist on taking us back. Isn't it also for the sake of studying me, this unique female specimen? Moreover, if I remember correctly, and a fiancé, why waste your time on us? Why don't you hurry up and marry your fiancé instead? Then give birth to an even more powerful cub. Shut up, Duan Yu, I can't take it anymore. The little silver fox in my arms wriggled, showing signs of dissatisfaction. He held back his impatience, turned around to coax the little one till the cub falls asleep. The man then Kamito Wen Ning sighed, pinching his chin. Warning, don't project your thoughts onto me. I'm not that kind-off filthy person. At this moment, the two of them were extremely close to each other. Wen Ning's crimson lips loomed infinitely large before his eyes. The man's breath quickened once more. This is simply torture for him. Every time I get close to this silver fox, his gun would ache faintly. That night, after going back, he also looked up some information. I roughly understand the reason behind this. To put it bluntly, his spiritual energy resonated with Wen Ning's, to the point where he just had to get close. Can't help but pin her down. Duan Yu's eyes were extremely red, watching those rosy lips part and close, saying things he don't like to hear. He leaned down and kissed her directly. Charge straight in. Break through all his defenses. The world is finally quiet. Duan Yu realized that he was in. What to do after? A trace of annoyance flashed in his eyes. He couldn't hold back again. If the first time was when Ninja intentionally drugging someone, then these few times were just them having poor self-control. Damn it, he absolutely cannot be controlled by a female. The more so, the more he has to strain himself. At this thought, Duan Yu made an excuse for himself. This kiss is a lesson for the little female. So he deepened the kiss once more. Wen Ning was stunned for a moment and immediately fell into a disadvantage. It was immediately replaced by a sense of regret, just about to push him away with force. But the sudden appearance of system interrupted the action. Host, you and Zhao Bui's male, having ordinary intimate relations. You can also gain spiritual power, you know. Wen Ning was delighted upon hearing this. Since things have already happened, might as well take this chanchetto recover some mental energy then. As a result, just Ash was zoning out. The lips suddenly felt a sharp pain. What are you doing? Wen Ning used all his strength to push Duan Yu away. Gave him another fierce glare. The man licked his lips with lingering desire. This vixen is damn sweet. He simply has no way to control this obsession. And this woman still can focus at a time like this. This is simply a blatant provocation against him. Suppressing the restlessing in my heart, Duan Yu took a slight step back, putting a little more distance between himself and Wen Ning. I told you. Think about it again. As for my engagement, you don't have to worry. I'll handle it myself. This was the first time had the patience to explaining so much to a female. But he attributed this emotion to Zaize. If it weren't for the fact that he had a kid with me, he doesn't want anything toto with an ungrateful woman. Again and again, tolerance. What can you solve? Marshal, given your status, your family, I will definitely find you the most perfect wife. It's absolutely not so meony as lowly as a little fox like me can reach it. Do you think I would? Taking the little one back to suffer these unjust calamities? I advise you to completely give up on this idea. Congratulations, host. You have completed intimate actions. Mental power increased by 50 points. When Ning collected the interest. I'm feeling much better. But regarding Duan Yu's stance, he never changed at all. In his eyes, this man is nothing but a troublemaker. Once involved, there's no way back. Rather than deal with all that hassle, might as well follow Li Sheng. Study carefully how to use psychic power. Don't have to boinder someone's thumb. Marshal, you don't need to call me back anymore. We'll settle in the Snake Clan's territory. If you come again, I don't mind asking our beast folk friends from the Snake Tribe for help. After all, I get along with them very well. They should be willing to help with such a small favor. A cold smirk tugged at Wen Ning's lips. He had witnessed Duan Yu's knack for taking advantage of a situation. Better to stop the boiling by removing fire than to skim off the foam. Cut the root of the problem. He wouldn't dare cause trouble in the Snake Clan's territory. Don't you dare regret it. Duan Yu angrily dropped this remark. He glanced furtively at the little one. Then he flicked his sleeve and left. This ungrateful silver fox actually stayed in another Mali's territory and refused to leave. Do you really think has no temper? He Duan Yu's female. It's not yet Anathermali's turn to protect. The calmed down Duan Yuchi did not leave. Instead, it lurked in a cave not far from Snakefoot. Li Sheng and Duan Yu resigned. Manan thought of Thatark with the elegant smile. Can't help Buten Grilly punch the wall. This is absolutely intolerable. No big deal, just deploy troops from the Empire. The Snake Clan has completely turned hostile. The Duan family's power in the Empire, not inferior to the Snake Clan's young master. The Grand Elder Marshal is so concerned about me. I am truly honored beyond words. A light and faint voice sounded at the entrance of the cave. Duan Yu's faces suddenly changed color. The ORC at the cave entrance still wore an elegant smile. It seems like everything's under his control. Among them, Duan Yu's heart grew wary. I never expected the young leader of the Snake Clan, so fond of hiding your head and showing your tail. That idiot Wen Ning actually thought he had met a kindred spirit. Little did he know, his every move has long been under someone else's surveillance. Duan Yu resigned with a mocking expression. Marshal, don't you think you're making too much noise? Besides, our Snake Clan is a hospitable race. Even if you come over openly and confidently, we are also welcome. For Wen Ning, Lixsheng can't say he likes it. Just a slight interest, that's all. What's more, he seems to be hiding deep secrets. The Snake Tribe is inherently selfish. Since I've come across something that interests me, of course, I have to keep him by my side. The young clan leader has spoken thus far. Then I won't beat around the bush either. Please return my partner to me, young clan leader. Otherwise, the Empire might send troops in a fit of anger, and that's not beyond the realm of possibility. Duan Yu's face was expressionless. He doesn't have time to play games with Li Sheng here. The words stop here. It can already be considered a blatant threat. But Li Sheng still showed no sign of anger. Not even the smile was put away. It is said that the Marshal is currently selecting a fiancé. However, it shouldn't be this little silver fox I took in, right? In that case, how can there be any talk of a partner? I suppose your fiancé. It wouldn't be a little silver fox with only level 1 psychic power either. I don't know if the Empire found out about this. Even the people from the Duan family knew. What would they think? Li Sheng adjusted his gold-rimmed glasses. He handled it with grace and adaptability. This smile hides daggers in its softness. Duan Yu found it extremely irritating to look at. If not for the fear of retaliation from the Snake Clan, he had someone level this place long ago. Why would I just sit there and take this crap? What Li Sheng said is correct. Silver foxes born from live births are rare. But she will never be his wife. At least not now. He still needs some time to negotiate with his family. Thinking of this, Wen Ning's I swear, proud and aloof, appeared in his eyes. He never doubted it before. If he can't give Wen Ning the position of head servant, he would absolutely never go back with him. That silver fox's stubbornness gave him a headache. At a loss for how to respond, Li Sheng pondered for 2.5 minutes before Duan Yu made a decision. He can stay. However, you must take into account his unique physical condition. Submit a report. Li Sheng is a professor at the research institute, perhaps able to give him an answer. Moreover, he also needs to negotiate with his family. They've already had 2 kids. He's not an irresponsible male. The tribe over there. Wen Ning was completely unaware of the deal between the 2 men. It just happened to be dinner time. He happened to be outside the cave preparing to cook a delicious meal for the ORCs. Just as everyone was drooling while waiting for the meal, a scream came from the outskirts of the snake clan. It's a beast tied. In an instant, countless roars of wild beasts echoed from the depths of the jungle. Wen Ning also felt a bit terrified. The beast tide is the most dangerous event in the jungle. Many beasts that cannot take a human form live in the jungle. They are born powerful. Feeds on orcs with psychic powers. They often attack major tribes. Wen Ning only felt they was utterly unlucky. Finally managed to shake off Duan Yuqi's pestering. This time, we ran into a beast tide again. Damn it, his face darkened. The little cub is still in the cave at the very edge. The other females are all under the protection of their beast husbands, hid in the jungle. Wen Ning had no choice but to go against the herd. Running towards the direction of his own cave, hoped to rescue the little one quickly. At the same time, the strange beasts that charged in Tove tribe began attacking Wen Ning. He was dealing with it while screaming internally in the inside. After taking down the 10th mutated beast, his body and Mindare both exhausted. The head still faintly throbbed with dizziness. Currently, he only has 70 points of mental energy left. Wen Ning gritted his teeth. Luckily, he was very close to the cave. There are only a few scattered beasts over here. Handling it is effortless. But when he finally returned behind the cave, yet there was no sign of their own cub. All that awaited him was a pool of glaring blood. Wen Ning's already pale little face grew even paler. He staggered forward unsteadily. The little one, Wen Ning, Relton sat before that pool of blood, softly calling out. But there was no more soft, cooing response to call back to him. Fate is indeed playing tricks on people. His first child in this world was just gone like that. He burst into tears. The crying quickly attracted the strange beasts. Wen Ning's eyes were bloodshot. It was these monstrous beasts that brutally killed his cub. With boundless hatred, he seemed to sense it. Once again, boundless strength surges through my body. You all go die. A roar mixed with rage. An invisible force enveloped Wen Ning's entire body. Burst out. In an instant, the dozens of strange beasts that surrounded them all turned to ashes. Severe warning. Host's mental energy detected to be 0. Overloaded. About to pass out. Before losing consciousness, Wen Ning's mind. Only the system's sharp alarm sound remained. This time I'm screwed. Wait for Lik Xing to arrive inside the cave. Saw this exact scene. A beautiful silver fox lay on the ground. There still seems to be faint breathing. Can't even maintain a human form anymore? Li Sheng sighed. There was a hint of pain in Shutong's eyes. He, who had always been severely dramatic, didn't care at all. He picked up the filthy silver fox without hesitation. He turned around and walked back into his own cave. He has medicine there to restore mental energy. It can temporarily relieve Wen Ning's injuries. Why can't I open me eyes, system? Wen Ning's head was spinning. Everything went dark before my eyes. Can only vaguely sense. There was a beast beside by my side. Host, You previously used your psychic energy. Now, the mental energy is in negative value status. Conscious or not, it's because of that snake outside. The beastman injected you with the serum. Want to truly waking up is impossible. The system's cold, emotionless voice rang out. It gave Wen Ning the illusion that he was angry. How the hell do I wake up then? Wen Ning could feel it. The system cold needlessly let its host die. I can make the host temporarily regain consciousness, regain human form. As long as the host can mate with that snake beastman, the generated spiritual power is deducted after accounting for the negative, will still remain. Upon hearing this, Wen Ning fell silent. Could he really not break free? The fate of mating with all kinds of people. This feeling of being restricted at every turn is really unpleasant. But he was completely helpless. Okay, I promise. Wen Ning hardened his heart. Make up one's mind. We can't really go on like this. He still wants to get revenge for the little one. A moment of clarity flashed through my mind. Wen Ning successfully opened his eyes. At the same time, Li Sheng was preparing medicine nearby. Starting to smell it. A uniquely feminine sweet stench of sweat. He was almost in an instant. Can't control my own rationality. The body is getting hot. Wen Ning's small hands wearied first to wrap around Li Sheng. Red lips wandered over his neck. Little minx. A flicker of flame danced in Li Sheng's usually composed eyes. Almost burned Wen Ning to ashes. The little silver fox in his arms was clearly a bit clumsy in its movements. Lik Sun turned passivity into initiative. He pinned Wen Ning down beneath him in one swift move. Wen Ning's physique has a fatal attraction to males. Litsang didn't want to suppress the desires in his heart at all. Just want to keep sinking deeper. This time, it wasn't until 2.5 hours later. The system finally remembered to remind. Congratulations, host, on successfully mating. Reward the host with 100 mental energy points. Early the next morning, taking advantage of having Gregan some strength. Wen Ning returned to the cave he shared with Zai Zai. His heart was filled with bitterness. That pool of blood reminded him. His son is already gone. That adorable little silver fox was something he could never see again. And he, as Zai Zai, the mother not only received no pay, under the pressure of circumstances, had sex with another male. Wen Ning curled his lips in self-mockery. I'm afraid she's the most unfit mother ever. Why are you hiding here? Even if I'm not in the mood, you should also think about the baby in your belly. It was the cold voice of Li Shenking. But the words he spoke were like a bolt from the blue. Wen Ning was utterly shocked and dumbfounded. Is she pregnant again with the kid? Wen Ning felt no joy in his heart. Instead, it's an endless desolation. No comparable combat power. Having another child. So what? It's still because awful sorts of situations. Falling into a crisis. He can't protect the child at all. Can you please leave? I want to be alone. Wen Ning didn't want to see him at this moment. Li Sheng wasn't as understanding as usual. Instead, she steps forward and grabbed his wrist. What are you doing? Wen Ning struggled violently. I think you might be interested in what I've found. I'll take you to a place. Wen Ning couldn't break free. I could only let Li Sheng have his way. Take him to a cave filled with the stench of corpses. Inside the cave lay dozens of corpses of strange beasts. This figure is hideous and terrifying. Li Sheng let go Wen Ning's hand. Step forward. Indifferently, he swiftly sliced open the beast's corpse with a dagger. Bright red blood flowed out, stimulating Wen Ning's nerves. Then, under his bewildered gaze, Li Sheng expressionless to open his own arm. Blue blood flowed out. He explained that our orc blood is naturally colored. Only the blood of the lowest tier beasts is red. So the blood in the cave wasn't from Zaize. Wen Ning snatched the dagger from Li Sheng's hand in one swift motion. Made a cut on the arm, seeing silvery blood drip down. Wen Ning couldn't help but burst into laughter. God bless his Lidion is still alive. In the blink of an eye, he started crying again. Although I'm alive. But there hasn't been a single word from them. He's not familiar with this place. How to go about searching for it? Bishing comforted him. This beast tide didn't just bring disaster to our tribe alone. There are still several tribes nearby. Kid. It's highly likely that they were rescued by people from another tribe. Don't worry, Thebastmen have few offspring. Will not harm any cub. Moreover, he's still a high-level cub. Upon hearing this, Wen Ning finally let out a slow sigh of relief. But after all, they still haven't found the kid. His heart remained suspended, unable to settle down. Bishing gently hugged him. I will ask around the neighboring tribes about the kid's whereabouts. I'll let you know as soon as there's any news. Thank you. Wen Ning gently broke free from his embrace, regarding this young clan leader with whom had no choice but to form a relationship. He felt somewhat uneasy inside. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10 points of mental energy. The system's voice rang out at an inopportune moment. Wen Ning was somewhat stunned. This can also boost mental energy. Wouldn't that mean being able to wig every day without any guilt? Can offset the points deducted from mental strength? As if sensing Wen Ning's thoughts, the system has become active again. This method of obtaining spiritual power through passage. Each high-quality ore can only be rewarded once. Host, don't think about cutting corners. Sure enough, the system is still that utterly deceitful system. How could he find such an obvious loophole? Since the host doesn't reject mating with Li Sheng, why not use him to gain spiritual power? Such high-quality orcs are hard to come by. Wen Ning recalled the timidness of that night. Feel like there's new way to face it. You don't need to overthink it. I am the young clan leader. The marriage was also my own decision. I will take a responsibility for you. Li Sheng watched his ever-changing expression, thought it was him. I can't accept the relationship all at once. Wen Ning twitched the corner of his mouth, forcing a smile even more pitiful than crying. Who wants him to take responsibility? Just think about the little one in your belly. He lost his nerve once again. Just take good care of our baby, that's all. That's for sure. Not just the baby. I will take good care of you too. The man was in a gloomy mood all day. Finally put my mind at ease. A hint of a noble smile appeared. The tribe returned to peace once more. Li Sheng instructed his subordinates. Let him clean out the cave next to him. Add some more female supplies. By the way, call a few more hot guys. Check what else is missing in the cave. Link looked like seen a ghost. Our own young clan leader is actually starting to worry about such trivial matters. Ever since that silver fox came to their tribe, the young clan leader is acting like he's lovesick. Your eyes keep sticking to me. But in his eyes, that mysterious female fox of unknown origin, he simply isn't worthy of their young clan leader. Due to Li Sheng's long-standing authority and intimidation over the years, he didn't dare to raise any objections. The instigation had been planned for several days. Everyone in the tribe is going crazy about it. Their young clan leader is going to marry Winnie. Do you think she will be the young mistress by birth? How is that possible? That kind of woman with no background, still relying on her tribe to survive. Our young clan leader wouldn't even give them a second glance. There are many similarital rumors and gossip. But Wen Ning had no time to deal with them. Ever since I got pregnant with this child, she was increasingly fond of eating raw meat. And strangely enough, this time her belly didn't swell up at all. Logically speaking, her gestation period is only 30 days. She should be showing by now. But for some reason, now her belly is still flat. The system doesn't know how to explain this either. The rumors in the tribe are getting worse and worse. There are even rumors that Wen Ning isn't pregnant, because the gestation period of snakes is very short. A normal female's belly will grow noticeably larger after just 3 days of pregnancy. It will fully grow in just 7 days. It will be ready for production in half a month. Obviously, this Wen Ning isn't pregnant in the slightest. The signs pissed people off. This wicked woman actually tried to cling to the young clan leader by faking a pregnancy. His intentions are punishable by death. Li Sheng didn't care about these remarks, but still gave the order. They are strictly forbidden to discuss such issues. This move, angered the elders in the tribe. The old men directly sent Somion over to deliver the message. Have him confirm as soon as possible whether Wen Ning is pregnant. Li Sheng's expression turned grave for the first time. The Serpent clan has a strict hierarchy. Even if it's him, we cannot overlook the opinions put forward by the elders either. Go get the witch doctor. The clan has a special pregnancy testing stone. As long as we can prove Wen Ning is pregnant, make the elders shut up. Wen Ning, this is our Snake tribe's witch doctor. I ordered him to come over to check your health. Wen Ning didn't suspect a thing. Nodded. The witch doctor reached under his armpit. Take out a flat stone, then place it in front of him. He muttered a few indistinct words under his breath. Instantly, the stone emitted a faint glow, reporting back to the young master. This female is indeed pregnant. The witch doctor seemed hesitant to speak. Gave Wen Ning a pitying glance. Wen Ning's heart tightened. Is there something wrong with the baby in my womb? Upon hearing that she was pregnant, Li Sheng regained his composure. This time no one will question it anymore. No matter how unusual her child may be, he can accept it all. The glow emitted during the pregnancy test was very faint. I'm afraid the unborn child's rank isn't high. Underdeveloped in the womb. It's very likely a stillbirth. In an instant, Wen Ning felt as if struck by lightning. Her palm-sized face instantly drained of color. System, can you help me check the level of the fetus in my womb? Sorry, host. The system does not have this feature. However, I can tell the host that during pregnancy, under special circumstance, it has no effect on the host. What counts as a special case? Sorry, host. There are too many special circumstances. The system cannot be listed separately. What can you do then? Wen Ning couldn't help but vomit. The host of the slot has the right to choose the female. You can choose to terminate a fetus with congenital weaknesses. He could hear the implied meaning in the system's words, but he couldn't bear to part with it. What is the probability of a stillborn child? Li Sheng fell silent for a moment. Never expected the witch doctor to call me out with something like this. He wasn't really that worried. It's normal for the kid to be low level. After all, Wen Ning is just a grade silver fox. It can only be said that he had bad luck. If Wen Ning is willing, at worst, they can just have another one. Superfluous affection. Once he has decided on his wife, he will never change. He has already had sexual relations with Wen Ning. Then the only one who can bear his child is Wen Ning. A pregnancy test can only serve as an indication. However, the chances of stillbirth in such cases are very high. The witch doctor didn't Dareto speak to confidently either. Loishing, want to keep the baby. No matter if it ends up being a weakling or stillborn. I admit it. Wen Ning's soft voice cheated inside the cave. Everyone was stunned. Link was the first to snap out of it. Can't help but show a mocking expression. This silver fox is trying to seduce the young clan leader. Really tried every possible way. Li Sheng understood Wen Ning's meaning. He didn't say much. I immediately agreed to his request. Link and the witch doctor rexing to glance behind them. Is their young clan leader out of his mind? The grand elder who now flung the teacup to the ground. Li Sheng's expression remained unchanged. That female is carrying my offspring. I will take a responsibility for him. The grand elder was so angry he laughed. You are the young clan leader of the Serpent tribe. The entire Serpent clan must be held accountable. But not a silver fox of unknown origin. Bishing is the most talented mole in their Serpent clan. He is also the future chief of their tribe. He would never allow a stain to appear within it. If even I can't take a responsibility for my own lyrics, What does it mean to bear responsible for the entire snake clan? The tribespeople wouldn't want this either. A cold and ruthless helmsman. The man's domineering gadded like this. This actually made Wen Ning like him quite a bit more. The great elder was so furious he nearly shit himself. Bishing was the one he watched grow up since he was a cub. Once he makes up his mind, I'm afraid it is very hard to change. He had no choice but swallow his anger. They said they could consider stepping back if we could compromise. Then you married the little granddaughter of the Black Panther tribe leader as your main wife. Let that silver fox be your side piece. Promise to let that silver fox give birth smoothly. This is the result of Theelder's joint deliberation. The granddaughter of the Black Panther chieftain is S's rank. Mental strength mayn't match Li Sheng's. But he is indeed a good candidate. Impossible. Great elder, there's no need to waste your efforts on me. My word, master, Canon Li be Wen Ning. Li Sheng didn't wait for the Grand Elder to answer again. He left in a huff with Wen Ning, this unfilial son. The elder was so angry that he was fuming and glaring with his beard bristling. Yet they could do nothing about Li Sheng. Over the years, Li Sheng has been in charge of the clan's affairs, long-standing prestige. Head-on collision probably won't work. Go and deliver the messagetto, Captain Black Panther. Let his little granddaughter come visit the Snake Clan. Greater, rest assured. The young clan leader was merrily betched by the Silver Fox's beauty. I heard that the Black Panther leader's little granddaughter is absolutely stunning. Perhaps the young clan leader will change his mind when he sees it. The two elders whispered words of comfort, saying, I hope so. The Grand Elder sighed. What a terrible disaster for the Snake Clan. And Wen Ning, after returning to the cave, I also learn a dab at Black Panther. His granddaughter is coming to visit the Snake Clan. His brow twitched. At this moment, a beautiful female came over for a visit. Afraid it's someone here to propose a marriage for Li Sheng. Thinking of this, he actually relaxed. It was a relationship of mutual excitation between them from the start. The pregnancy was unexpected. If not, the two of them wouldn't be tied together. He wants to take responsibility. Wen Ning, however, had no intention. Then who is his lyricist? It has nothing to do with him. And his kid. At most, the kid just doesn't have any psychic energy. So what? She will do her best to protect him. Another 3 days passed. Wen Ning's belly still showed no signs of getting bigger. His appetite just keeps growing. He can eat 10 cows in one meal. Wen Ning even suspected that he had a touty living in his stomach. His appetite was so huge it scared even him. That afternoon, after lunch, Bishing was holding a strange machine in his hand. Appeared in his cave. This is the new machine launched by the Research Institute. You can simply detect the mental energy of the fetus in the womb. I brought it over for you to try. He knew how much Wen Ning cared about the unborn baby. He also wanted to know what exactly was wrong with the cub. Wen Ning's eyes lit up upon hearing this. As expected, the identity of a research professor still comes in handy. You're lying here. Later, I will strap Thetis onto your abdomen. Wen Ning lay down as Li Sheng instructed, looking at him with slight curiosity. Tie the equipment to your belly. In less than 1 minute, a strong heartbeat sound came from the machine. This is Zai Zai's heartbeat. A strange feeling spread through Wen Ning's heart. A sharp alarm sounded from the instrument. Wen Ning looked at Li Sheng in confusion, only to see his vertical pupils. With a mix of solemnity and pleasant surprise, Wen Ning couldn't help but be stunned. What a surprise! Didn't you hear the alarm going off? The next second, the man excitedly shouted, Wu Yi is wrong. The elders were all wrong.